First Contact and Revelation. Supreme Archon Viridian of the Meridian Hegemony gazed through the quantum viewport of his command vessel, the Eternal Dominance. The swirling nebula and distant stars reflected in his 7 iridescent eyes as he contemplated the vastness of his empire. For over 12,000 cycles, the Meridian species had systematically conquered and subjugated over 200 sentient civilizations across 3 galaxies. Supreme Archon, the Council awaits your presence, announced High Commander Zenith, her chitinous exoskeleton glistening under the ambient light of the command bridge. Viridian turned from the viewport with deliberate slowness. What news do they bring that requires my immediate attention? Has another rebellion been crushed? No, Supreme Archon. Our long-range scouts have returned from the exploration of the spiral galaxy we designated as Sector 9 Epsilon. They report discovering a previously unknown sentient species on a small blue planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow star. Viridian's mandibles clicked in mild interest. Another primitive species to catalog and eventually harvest. Hardly worth a council meeting. The scouts report something unusual about these beings. They call themselves humans. Minutes later, Viridian entered the Grand Council chamber where the 12 High Counselors of the Hegemony waited. The massive crystal table before them displayed a holographic image of a blue-green planet. Supreme Archon, began Counselor Thilax, the eldest among them, we have discovered a species that does not follow the expected evolutionary pattern. These humans appear physically frail, no natural armor, minimal strength, limited sensory capabilities, yet they have developed technological civilization in a fraction of the time it took other species. How advanced are they? Viridian inquired, settling into his elevated throne. Primitive by our standards, replied Counselor Cyrex, head of scientific research. They have achieved limited space travel within their own solar system, have rudimentary quantum computing, and have only recently discovered gravitational manipulation. They are fractured into numerous competing nation-states and appear to spend considerable resources fighting among themselves. Viridian's interest immediately waned. Then why have you summoned me? They sound millennia away from being a concern or even a valuable resource. Because of this, Counselor Cyrex manipulated the holographic display to show surveillance footage captured by their probes. The images revealed vast underground complexes on the human homeworld, hidden beneath oceans and mountains. These facilities do not match their apparent technological level. Our analysis suggests they may be deliberately concealing their true capabilities. Impossible, Viridian hissed. No species has ever successfully hidden their technological development from our surveillance. There's more, continued Cyrex. We detected quantum fluctuations around their planet that suggest advanced shielding technology. Technology that, by our estimations, they should not possess for at least another 1,000 years. Viridian rose from his throne, his 7-foot frame towering over the counselors. Send a diplomatic envoy. I want to know exactly what these humans are hiding. 3 cycles later, the diplomatic vessel Harmonious Intent entered Earth's solar system, broadcasting peaceful intentions in all known communication formats. The humans responded immediately, inviting the hegemony representatives to a space station orbiting their moon. High Emissary Quattril led the diplomatic team, confident in their mission. The hegemony had perfected the art of first contact, appearing benevolent while assessing weaknesses and resources. As they docked with the human station, Quattril noted its simplistic design and outdated materials. Perhaps the Council's concerns were overblown. The airlock opened to reveal a delegation of humans led by a female with silver-streaked hair and piercing blue eyes. Welcome to Sol System. I am Director Elena Volkov of the United Earth Defense Initiative, she announced in perfect Meridian language, shocking the diplomats. We've been expecting your arrival for some time. Quattril recovered quickly. Greetings, Director Volkov. I am High Emissary Quattril of the Meridian Hegemony. We come in peace to establish diplomatic relations between our civilizations. Volkov's smile didn't reach her eyes. Yes, peace. just as you brought peace to the Arcturian Collective and the Proxima Centauri Alliance. Stunned silence fell over the Meridian delegation. Those conquests had occurred over 300 cycles ago, long before humans had achieved space travel. I see your confusion, Volkov continued, leading them into a conference room with a large viewing window overlooking Earth. Allow me to clarify. Humanity has been aware of the Meridian hegemony for over 2 centuries. We've rescued refugees from your expansion campaigns, intercepted your communications, and studied your technology. Impossible, Quattrell sputtered. Your species has been under observation. You have only primitive interplanetary vessels. Volkov laughed, a sound that sent chills through the Meridian diplomats. Those? They're theatrical props, Ambassador. Window dressing for any watching eyes. She gestured toward the viewport, and suddenly the image of Earth shimmered and transformed. The planet now appeared encircled by massive orbital structures, shipyards, defense platforms, and energy collectors that dwarfed anything in the Meridian arsenal. Sleek vessels of unknown design patrolled in formation, their hulls gleaming with a material that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. What you're seeing now is the real Earth, Volkov explained. We developed quantum displacement technology a century ago, allowing us to hide our true development behind a projected image. But why? Asked Quattrell, mandibles trembling. Why conceal yourselves? Because we learned what happens to civilizations that draw the attention of the Meridian hegemony before they're ready to defend themselves. Volkov's voice hardened. We watched you strip mine entire worlds, reduce sentient beings to slaves, and exterminate those who resisted. We decided to wait until we were strong enough to stop you. Quattrell struggled to maintain diplomatic composure. Director Volkov, I assure you, these are grave misunderstandings. The hegemony brings order and advancement to. Spare me your propaganda, Volkov interrupted. We have recorded testimonies from 57 species you've conquered. We've documented the genetic harvesting programs, the planetary resource extraction that leaves worlds uninhabitable, the systematic elimination of cultural identity. She tapped a control panel, and holographic images appeared showing Meridian warships bombarding civilian populations, vast mining operations leaving ravaged landscapes, and detention facilities where alien species were subjected to experimentation. These atrocities end now, Volkov declared. Humanity has prepared for this moment for generations. We've established alliances with the remnants of civilizations you thought you'd broken. We've built technologies specifically designed to counter yours. Quattrell's compound eyes widened as the tactical implications became clear. You're declaring war on the hegemony. No, Volkov replied. We're declaring liberation for every species under your control. You have 30 Earth days to begin the complete withdrawal of Meridian forces from all occupied worlds and to release all enslaved populations. The Supreme Archon will never agree to such demands, Quattrell stated flatly. Volkov nodded as if expecting this response. Then perhaps he'll listen to this. She activated another control, and the holographic display showed thousands of human vessels suddenly appearing throughout Meridian space, near critical military installations, administrative centers, and even the hegemony homeworld itself. These images are being transmitted in real time, Volkov explained. While we've been talking, humanity has deployed our fleet across your empire using quantum translocation technology. We can strike anywhere, anytime, without warning. Quattrell stared in horror at the display, watching as panic spread through the hegemony's command structure. This is impossible. No species has mastered instantaneous interstellar transportation. No species you know of, Volkov corrected. Return to your vessel, Ambassador. Deliver our message to your Supreme Archon. 30 days to begin withdrawal, 1 standard galactic year to complete it. After that, we take action. As the Meridian delegation hurriedly returned to their ship, Quattrell turned to Volkov one last time. You don't understand what you're doing. The hegemony has technologies you cannot imagine, weapons that can destroy entire star systems. Volkov's expression remained resolute. So do we, Ambassador. The difference is, we've never had to use ours. Yet, back on the Hegemony command vessel, Supreme Archon Viridian received Quattrill's report with mounting rage. These humans dare to threaten us, he bellowed, smashing a crystalline sculpture with one powerful limb. We who have conquered galaxies, we who have broken civilizations far more advanced than theirs. Supreme Archon, ventured Counselor Cyrex cautiously, our preliminary analysis suggests their quantum displacement and translocation technologies are genuine. They have somehow developed capabilities that our scientists theorized but never achieved. Impossible, Viridian roared. No species develops faster than the Meridians. It violates the natural order. High Commander Zenith stepped forward. Supreme Archon, I recommend immediate military action. If we strike their homeworld with our planet-killer weapons before they can fully deploy. They are already deployed, interrupted Counselor Thalax, pointing to the tactical display showing human vessels positioned throughout hegemony space. And we have no defense against their translocation technology. They could appear inside our most secure facilities without warning. Viridian paced the command deck, his massive frame radiating fury. Prepare the fleet, all of it. We will show these humans the true might of the Meridian hegemony. And when we're done, their planet will be nothing but atoms scattered across their pitiful solar system. As the hegemony war machine rumbled to life, coordinating the largest military mobilization in its 12,000-cycle history, a single human quantum probe recorded everything and transmitted it back to Earth. In the command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, Director Volkov watched the hegemony's preparations with a grim expression. They're choosing war, observed Admiral Chen, standing beside her. Volkov nodded. As we expected, tyrants never surrender power willingly. The liberation fleets are in position, Chen reported. The Alliance forces are standing by. Operation Daybreak awaits your command. Volkov took a deep breath, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. Humanity had spent generations preparing for this moment, the confrontation with the greatest tyranny the universe had ever known. Commence Operation Daybreak, she ordered. Let's free the galaxy. The Reckoning and New Dawn. Supreme Archon Viridian stood on the command bridge of the Eternal Dominance, the flagship of the hegemony's Grand Armada. Around him, 10,000 warships had assembled, planet killers, dreadnoughts, and swarm carriers that housed millions of autonomous combat drones. It was the greatest concentration of military might ever assembled in the history of the three galaxies. The fleet is ready, Supreme Archon, reported High Commander Zenith. Our first strike force will reach the human solar system in 14 hours. Viridian's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. Excellent. These humans will learn the price of defiance. Once their homeworld is reduced to ash, we will hunt down every human colony and outpost until their species exists only in our historical archives. Supreme Archon, interrupted Communication Officer Lyrics, we're detecting unusual energy signatures throughout the fleet, some kind of quantum disturbance. Before Viridian could respond, the tactical display erupted with alerts. Across the vast armada, systems began failing simultaneously, weapons going offline, shields collapsing, engines shutting down. Even the Eternal Dominance wasn't spared as its lights flickered and emergency protocols engaged. What is happening? Viridian demanded, his voice rising with unprecedented fear. It appears to be some form of quantum virus, explained Science Officer Krex, frantically analyzing the data. It's propagating through our systems using quantum entanglement, bypassing all our security protocols. Impossible, Viridian roared. Our systems are protected by the most advanced security measures in the known universe. Sir, Zenith's voice had lost its usual confidence. We're detecting massive energy signatures. The humans are here. The space around the hegemony armada suddenly distorted as thousands of human vessels materialized, sleek, angular ships that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. They'd moved with impossible precision, positioning themselves strategically throughout the hegemony formation. All ships, open fire. Viridian commanded. Weapons are non-responsive. Supreme Archon, reported Zenith. The virus has compromised all offensive systems. A communication request flashed on the main screen. With trembling limbs, Viridian authorized the connection. Director Volkov's face appeared, her expression one of calm resolve. Supreme Archon Viridian, she began. As expected, you've chosen conflict over cooperation. But this will not be a battle. It will be a demonstration. What have you done to my fleet? Viridian demanded. Quantum neural disruption, Volkov explained. A non-destructive technology we developed specifically for this moment. Your ships are intact, but their systems are temporarily disabled. We could have destroyed your entire armada. But unlike the hegemony, we don't believe in unnecessary bloodshed. You cannot hope to defeat the Meridian hegemony, Viridian snarled. We span 3 galaxies. We command resources you cannot imagine. Resources stolen from the civilizations you've conquered, Volkov countered. And those civilizations are now rising up. The tactical display updated to show simultaneous uprisings across hundreds of hegemony-controlled worlds. Subjugated species were overthrowing their oppressors, assisted by human special forces and allied resistance fighters who had been covertly positioned over the past decades. This is larger than just humanity, Volkov continued. We've spent the last century building a coalition of resistance forces from every corner of your empire. Today, they all rise together. Viridian watched in horror as the hegemony's 12,000 cycle rule began unraveling in real time. Administrative centers fell, security forces surrendered, and planetary governors fled or were captured. The age of the Meridian hegemony is over, Volkov declared. But we're not here for revenge or conquest. We're offering a path forward, even for the Meridian people. What? What do you mean? Viridian asked, his once imperious voice now uncertain. A new galactic cooperative is forming, explained Volkov, built on principles of sovereignty, mutual respect, and shared advancement. Every species, including Meridians, will have an equal voice. No more conquerors, no more subjugated worlds. The Meridian people will never accept equality with lesser species, Viridian spat. That's where you're wrong, came a new voice as another Meridian appeared beside Volkov on the screen, one wearing the insignia of the Scientific Council. Many of us have long opposed the hegemony's brutal methods. Counselor Nexel. Viridian's compound eyes widened in shock. You betray your own kind. I save my kind from your madness, Nexel replied. For millennia, you and your predecessors have led us down a path of conquest and cruelty, convincing us it was our evolutionary destiny. But all it has brought us is endless war and the hatred of every sentient species we encounter. Across the hegemony's territories, a coordinated revolution was unfolding, not just from subjugated species, but from within Meridian society itself. Scientists, philosophers, and ordinary citizens who had secretly opposed the regime's brutality for generations. Your fleet remains disabled but unarmed, Volkov informed Viridian. Your crew will be evacuated safely. You and your high command will face justice for your crimes against sentient beings, but the Meridian people will have the opportunity to join the new galactic cooperative as equals. Viridian's exoskeleton seemed to collapse inward as the reality of his situation became clear. 12,000 cycles of Meridian dominance ended not in glorious battle but in complete strategic defeat. How? He asked simply. How did humans advance so quickly? How did you defeat our technology when we've conquered species thousands of years older than yours? For the first time, Volkov's expression softened slightly. Because of what you never understood about us, Archon Viridian. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, it's our diversity. Our fractured history, which you saw as weakness, forced us to innovate in countless different directions simultaneously. While the hegemony pursued power through conformity and control, We embraced 1,000 different approaches to every problem. We failed faster, learned quicker, and adapted more readily than any monolithic empire ever could. In the days that followed, the liberation of the 3 galaxies proceeded with remarkable speed and minimal bloodshed. The human-led coalition had planned meticulously, positioning forces to secure critical infrastructure and prevent destructive last stands by hegemony loyalists. 3 months after first contact, representatives from over 200 formerly subjugated species gathered on a neutral space station to form the founding council of the Galactic Cooperative. Director Volkov stood before the assembled delegates, her silver hair gleaming under the ceremonial lights. "Today marks a new beginning," she addressed the diverse gathering. "Not just for humanity or for the formerly oppressed worlds of the hegemony, but for all sentient life in our 3 galaxies. We come together not as conquerors and conquered, but as equals with unique perspectives and contributions to make." In the audience sat Nexel and a delegation of reform-minded Meridians, their once intimidating forms now humbled but dignified. They had renounced the ways of the hegemony and pledged to help repair the damage caused by millennia of exploitation. "The mistakes of the past need not define our future," Volkov continued. "The Meridian hegemony believed that power came from domination and homogeneity. They were wrong. True power and true civilization comes from cooperation and diversity. Humanity didn't liberate the galaxies because we were stronger or more advanced. We succeeded because we built bridges instead of walls, because we sought allies instead of subjects, because we valued difference instead of fearing it." As Volkov spoke, holographic displays showed the transformation already beginning across the former hegemony worlds. Restoration projects healing damaged ecosystems, cultural revival movements reclaiming lost heritage, and joint scientific ventures combining knowledge from dozens of species. "There will be challenges ahead," Volkov acknowledged. "Wounds this deep take time to heal. Trust must be rebuilt. Justice must be served. But together, we can create something unprecedented, a true multi-species civilization where all can thrive." The first act of the newly formed Galactic Cooperative was to establish the Remembrance and Reconciliation Commission, tasked with documenting the crimes of the hegemony while creating pathways for healing and restoration. Former Supreme Archon Viridian and his high command faced trial for crimes against sentient beings. The evidence was overwhelming. 12,000 cycles of systematic oppression, genocide, and exploitation documented in meticulous detail. Yet even in justice, the new cooperative showed its different approach. Rather than execution or revenge, Viridian and his commanders were sentenced to spend the remainder of their lives assisting with restoration efforts on the worlds they had damaged most severely. 5 years after humanity's emergence onto the galactic stage, Admiral Chen stood beside Director Volkov, now Coordinator Volkov of the Galactic Cooperative, on the observation deck of Earth's primary space station. Below them, the blue-green jewel of humanity's homeworld shone brightly, now surrounded by the visible infrastructure of an interstellar civilization. "The Cassiopeia Initiative reports success," Chen informed her. "The last of the forced labor camps in the Andromeda sectors have been liberated." Volkov nodded in satisfaction. "And the ecological restoration on Proxima Centauri IV. Ahead of schedule. The Meridian scientists have been surprisingly helpful. Their knowledge of the damage their mining operations caused has proven invaluable in reversing it. They're finding redemption through restoration," Volkov observed. "As it should be." Chen gazed out at the starfield. "Did you ever imagine, when we first detected the hegemony probes 2 centuries ago, that it would end like this?" "Not precisely like this," Volkov admitted. "There were many who pushed for us to strike preemptively, to answer the hegemony's cruelty with our own. It took great restraint to choose a different path. A path that saved millions of lives," Chen noted. "And potentially changed the course of galactic history," Volkov added. "The easy path would have been to become conquerors ourselves, to replace one empire with another. The harder path was to create something truly new. As they spoke, a delegation of Arcturian and Meridian scientists passed by, engaged in animated discussion about a joint terraforming project, former enemies now working as colleagues. That, Volkov said, pointing to the diverse group, is humanity's true victory. Not defeating the hegemony, but helping to create a galaxy where such empires become unthinkable, where cooperation proves stronger than conquest. Beyond the viewport, the stars beckoned, not as territories to be claimed or resources to be exploited, but as frontiers of discovery to be explored together by a united galactic civilization built on mutual respect and shared wisdom. The age of empires was over. The age of cooperation had begun. And humanity, the species once dismissed as primitive by the mighty hegemony, had shown the galaxy a better way forward, not through superior force, but through superior vision.